Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. We will get this going right now. Thank you so much for coming here. We're going to go over more than seven business ideas for nurses. We're going to talk about some frequently asked questions. We're going to go over some common pitfalls that are out there so that you can avoid them. And you know what? Congratulations. I want to say congratulations for taking a look at something different, something else. Not a lot of people are looking into entrepreneurship, and you are definitely standing out, and you're far ahead of many others just for doing that. So, congratulations on that. And you know what? We're here because there are a lot of nurses, they're struggling in their own position or their position that they have. They're getting burned out. They want something different. They want to be their own boss. They're tired of answering to people who don't know as much as they do, to be quite honest, and they want something different. They want to call their own hours and want control of their own time. But, and going into entrepreneurship is a very different world from nursing. And I'll talk a little bit about that. And you know what? I also will talk about money. Money is not evil. Money is a basic need. It's part of our food, shelter, and housing sort of level. It's a need that we have. Also, wanting to have abundance financially is not a bad thing. I know that there are people who can build orphanages, and I know there are people who can build schools, and you need to have resources in order to do these things. I invite people to think about, who can help more people. Oprah, Bill Gates with their foundations, or somebody who needs support from other people, someone else who doesn't necessarily have that. I mean, the other person who might have to rely on the government for support, they can add a lot of value and they're very valuable as a person. But I'm just talking about a way to grow and transform the lives of many people. Um, Different people who have more resources or resources, again, like Oprah or Bill Gates, they can transform the lives of more people. They can offer scholarships. So I really want more nurses to be able to support the population and support others and support nonprofits in that capacity. I'm not there yet. I'm not there, nor do I want to be per se, but I just want that idea of what's possible to be there for you and why. Because as nurses, we're not used to charging for our expertise. And I just noticed that could be a hang up. So I just wanted to talk about that early on. So at the end, I'm going to invite you to continue our work together here, and I'll talk to you about how you can do that. Right now, I want you to know a little bit about me. I've had my own business for 3 years. I'm a registered nurse. I do my business alongside what I do as a nurse. I'm only a nurse a couple days a week. It's in an outpatient facility, and that's what I like. I'm a wife, I'm a volunteer, and as I mentioned, alongside that, I help my clients in a few different ways. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I do want to acknowledge that change is scary. But you do have options and you can avoid common mistakes. Okay. So you're not stuck in whatever it is that you're doing. Even if you have your own business and it's not going how you want it to go, you have options and there's lots of common mistakes you can avoid. So I want to talk about frequently asked questions, if that's okay. Um, yeah, I'm going to talk about frequently asked questions and then I'm going to get into the business ideas. So, you know what? Actually, let me get to the business ideas because that's what I promised, and I'll come back to that. So, business ideas that I have done to varying levels of success. I've been a nurse writer. All right, so you can be a nurse writer. You can be a nurse writer doing test item writing questions. I've done that. I've been paid to submit content to websites, to blogs. Um, I've been a paid social media manager for healthcare content. I've been paid or compensated to do wellness workshops. There's different ways you can do wellness workshops about how to support the body, whether it's with essential oils or common things that people need to know to have better sleep. You can do a variety of things with that on your own or with a company that will give you commission. I'm an information advocate. I empower people with information. That's something all nurses can do, and that is actually a thing. I give people information that they need. It's easy for me to find just because I'm more familiar with where to find the information versus them spending their time finding the information. So think of it as I'm trying to think of an example, but think of it as being dropped off in the middle of a city. You don't know where to go. You don't have a GPS. You're in the middle of the city and someone comes up to you and says, hey, for a certain amount of money per day, I'll be your guide. I'll hand walk you through the city, show you where to go, show you what to avoid. And there's a price point to that. You can, buy my services for the day. I'll be yours for like $200. or here's a map on a compass, and that's free. So a lot of people would choose the guide for, a couple $100 a day. But in any case, that's the thing. Health influencer. Because I am a nurse, when I talk about certain things that are related to prevention and wellness and staying healthy, people listen to me and companies find that of value. So I've been paid as an influencer, healthcare influencer. And again, these are things that you're doing anyway as a nurse, but you can also make a business out of it. Nurse contractor. I've worked events as a nurse. Been there as a contractor. Yet, this could be your own nursing idea. You could decide to staff events over a certain size. They need to have healthcare on the venue. If something goes wrong at the venue, they don't want to tax the local EMS. So that's a business idea. So you can also be a nurse consultant. I was a nurse consultant with HIPAA. Not that I'm not a lawyer. You don't have to be a lawyer. I'm just more expert than the people who were hiring me. In other words, the people who hired me, they did not know. They needed somebody who knew more about HIPAA than the people that I was training. So your knowledge that you have as a nurse and from just being around healthcare and your insights, that is of value. You do not have to have a doctorate or master's in anything in particular, but you just do have to know more than the people that you're helping. And that knowledge gap between what they know and what you know, there's a gap, right? And that knowledge, that gap, a lot of people want to pay to close that gap. And the bigger the gap, the more they're willing to pay to close that gap quickly. So those are some ideas for you. So let me go back to some frequently asked questions. So when people hear that, they're like, okay, so where do you find information on all of this? I'll be honest, a lot of this I Googled. There wasn't a one-stop shop that I could go and get all the information I needed in life or for this. I did Google a lot. I have also taken a lot of paid courses. There are people who know more than I do about a particular thing, whether it's marketing, whether it was how to make a webinar, whether it was how to do XYZ, how to talk to people in a way where they'll make purchases. They didn't tell me that. They didn't. I didn't learn that in nursing school. I didn't learn how to get clients in nursing school. I had to learn that. And so some of that information I found on my own. I tried. Others I paid a class to take in different classes. So in any case, information is available for those who search for it. But if you have anything specific about this, I'm going to also give you some resources where you can start to narrow down your search in a way that will hopefully be helpful. Okay. People ask also about funding, with businesses, a business startup, it's not free. There's a cost to it, right? However, a lot of businesses, depending on what you decide to do, can be self-funded. All the business ideas that I had mentioned, I self-funded. And because it was like they had like low startup, there was like low startup costs involved. That's another thing to look at. When you're looking at what businesses start, look at the startup cost, funding considerations, see if there might be grant support for some businesses. I recommend starting with your small business association. Google small business association or smallbusiness.gov and look for the small business association near you. And that can help you. There's also debt-free business opportunities. There's business opportunities where for what you eat for lunch, for products that you use anyway, they'll teach you the skills of business. They'll teach you how to find clients, how to talk to them, and how to do a variety of different things. So those are just some things to think about. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. So how much experience is needed? Some people say, okay, this looks all fine and good, but nurse writer and healthcare content manager and healthcare, how much experience do they need? How much experience did these people ask you for before they gave you a check? Zero. None of them have asked me about my nursing, how many years of experience I have. They don't care. They just care that I have more industry knowledge and expertise than they have. Real talk. You see nursing influencers who are still in nursing school, which I have feelings about, but they're still in nursing school and they're being paid as influencers for a variety of reasons. But I will say that you're just going through nursing school gives you a level of information about healthcare that the average person does not have. Again, there's a knowledge gap. There's a gap between the information that you have as a nurse who's been through nursing school, nothing else, and what they have as a lay person. All right. So I'm not saying, what's right and what's good and what's fair in the world. I'm just leaving you reality as it is right now. So how much experience is needed? Really none. The more the better, but it only matters if you're able to describe the experience in a way that would matter to the person who will give you money for it. And I want to talk about that a little bit more. So how do you find customers? This is like the hardest part of business, and customers are everywhere. My first client, I found her, actually, I was listening to a podcast, and I was listening to the podcast and I was thinking, I might be able to help her. So I reached out. I listened to the podcast. I looked up the information of how to reach out to her, and I reached out to her and said, "Hey, I think I might be able to help you. I don't know, but would you be open to having a chat?" And we did, and it turned out I could help her. That was my first client. After that, another client found me on LinkedIn. I had updated my LinkedIn profile, made it clear about the problem that I solved, and she came up to me and said, "Hey, I need your help." Um, After that, I am active on social media, and I'll talk to you, I think, a little bit more about that. But I was solving problems and answering questions, and then they came up to me and said, "Hey, I saw that you were solving problems and answering questions. We need someone to help." So, clients are everywhere. In short, it's just really depends on you. It really is your responsibility as a business owner to make it clear that you help people. And yeah, be clear that you help people, and I'm not going to say people will magically find you or that you'll magically have people knocking on your door or sending you emails. However, if you make it clear that you solve a particular problem, this is how one can reach you. I'm not going to say that getting clients is super hard. Okay. Um, so be visible and solve problems, add value to someone's life, give a transformation, and then invite them to improve their life. So that's what you're doing. You're inviting someone else to improve their own life, and you're inviting them to. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to make this more complicated than it is. A lot of nurses, they're worried about sales. They don't see themselves as a salesperson, and have different thoughts about that. But the long and the short of it is, as a business owner, you're about solving problems. Money has to come from somewhere so that you can help more people. In order to help more people, you do need to have income of some source. But you do have to have resources, and the key to people finding you and knowing you're open for business is to be visible, solving problems. All right. I'm not saying just to be visible for visibility's sake and just be on something smiling all the time and not really telling people what it is that you do, but add value and invite people to improve their lives. So again, these are the 7 business ideas that I have tried. Nurse Ryder, if you have questions, again, leave them in the comments. However, we're going to go on a little trip where I'm going to show you other income ideas. And so again, we're going to talk about, like I said, real life business. There are best practices. There are business that's been around for millions of years, and there are best practices. People have noticed that certain things consistently work all of the time, and related to that, getting clients is a learnable skill that I feel as though is best learned early with a debt-free business opportunity. There are lots of business opportunities out there. Some of them require a good amount of startup funding. Other business opportunities require little to no startup costs, and you'll learn the skill of getting clients. So on that note, we're going to take we're going to go from something to be aware of to something more positive. All right. So let's go ahead. So this is from the Yoga Nurse, and the top 7 reasons why nurses fail miserably in business. So I'm doing this not to discourage you. I just want you to have the information so that you'll be empowered as you're going forward. And you can feel free to read this. This is the name of the article, the top 7 reasons why nurses fail miserably in business. So not having a real purpose. So a lot of people describe, will start a business just because they're trying to get out of stress. They want to start a business because they hate their job. So having a true aim is very important, right? Some people start a business, but they don't really have anything in particular, or they're not really solving any particular problem. They might, and I honestly can't give you an example of this. They might just want to make people feel good, but they don't necessarily have a product, service, or program that makes people feel good. They just start the business because they want to make people happy. How they are making people happy, what are they selling to make people happy? They may not really have an idea. So that could be another reason why people fail in business. No plan. Again, you have to get the whole goal with a business is to bring somebody from point A, from where they are, to point B, a better state of being point B. So the gap between point A and point B, if it's huge, if it's painful, if they want to bridge that gap quickly, people will pay you for being a solution in their life. They'll pay you to be a transformation. So have a plan, and an action plan is great. So um, know people. Again, talking about finding an audience or finding people or finding customers. Um, you have to be talking to people. You have to be inviting people to learn more about what it is that you do and how you can help. And that's again a common mistake. Perseverance. You have to stay with it. You can't. Business is not easy. Things don't happen overnight. No discipline. You really do have to stick at it. This can be a challenge, something I've had to deal with. Like, sometimes with business, you might say, hey, in the morning I'm going to do a blog post, or I'm going to share with, three people how I can serve them. Then you get up in the morning, you might not feel like it. And so that day you didn't really tell anybody what it is that you did and how you can help. And then the next day you do the same, and then you do the same. And then at the end of the month, you might find that you didn't really help anyone. All right. So you really do have to be disciplined and no help. Um, Again, there's lots of things that they don't teach us in nursing school. Things about marketing and social media and email marketing. And you might need help, web design. You might need help, to figure this out. So this is something. So this example, she invested in learning how to build her website. All right. So this nurse made that investment. Okay, let's move on to this other blog post, how to become a nurse entrepreneur without leaving your job. And that's something I really do encourage. Like, you don't have to leave your job to start blogging, to start giving articles to newsletters. You don't have to stop your job or leave your job to start empowering people with information. You can do that as a nurse. So he talks about identifying a problem. We talked a little bit about that. Um, and then a mix of you have to have the passion, skills of nursing and a business idea. And a business idea is generally something people will pay for, and identify your target market, right? Not everybody needs, what it is that you have to offer. So I'll definitely, keep that in mind, that, like, you're not Coca-Cola. Not everybody needs what you have. So focus on the people who really do need what you have the most. And, take a look at the competition. I sort of don't believe in competition. It's a long story. I do believe in collaboration, and, take action. So this is for you to take a look at if you want to look a little further over on, the Nurse Buff website. Some other little things look odd around here, so be careful about if you're clicking around here. Be careful about what you click on, but there's that. Okay. This is my blog. All right. This is my blog, The Business of Nursing. I featured nurses that I've talked with. As being a nurse in business over the past 3 years, I've met a lot of nurses in business, and some of them I've invited to share their story with you. So this is my blog, and I talk about, there's a nurse here who started a CNA school. All right. That's another thing that a lot of nurses have wanted to go into. E-commerce is great. If you want an online digital store, that so can be something that you do. This is a great nurse practitioner I interviewed. This is a nurse who had a change of health circumstance, and she had to stop working. And so she started homeschooling. And so she started sharing the story of how she homeschooled, and people wanted to pay her for the information that she has about homeschooling. This is a nurse who became a social media manager. She shares her story. Let's see, a senior care consultant, CPR. I think I have a couple of folks who did the CPR business. Okay, informatics, concierge nursing. So there's just a lot of different options out there for you. And, some people say, so where do you want to, where should you start? Well, it really depends on you. And I'm happy to continue this conversation and this relationship. If you want to continue to working together, please contact me through the Business of Nursing website, the contact form. Also, I am working on a course, Income Ideas for Remote Workers. It's going to be $47 as of January 19th. I'm sorry, 2019. After January, the price will go up. If and what it will go up to and when it will go, I don't know. But as I continue to work on it and add value to that course, the value will increase and the price will reflect that. So if you're interested in that, please let me know as well. And yeah, so if anything was helpful, please let me know. If you want more information about anything that I mentioned as far as what I've done and tried, feel free to leave a comment here. Take care.